Welcome back. We are looking at the topic of commercial arithmetic. Today, we are continuing with compound interest. Lesson 2, Objectives. By the end of the lesson, the learner should be able to A. Calculate compound interest using step-by-step method. B. Derive the compound interest formula. C. Apply the compound interest formula for calculating interest. Activity 1. Calculations based on compound interest. We are going to look at stepwise calculation of compound interest. We now work out Mary's interest, remember? For the case where she puts the interest, we represent interest with the letter I as usual. She earns back the interest she earns back into her investment every year, increasing the principal amount P every year for 4 years. This method is called compound interest. In other words, whatever interest she earns through that simple interest formula is put back, added on to the principal amount for investment in the following year. If principal amount at the beginning of the first year is shillings 4,800 and rate is 10%, the amounts she shall have accumulated at end of year 1 and or every year shall be: first year is interest is equal to rate times principal times time percent over, that is over 100, which gives us 10 times 4,800 times 1, because it's 1 year, times 1 year, over 100, that gives us shillings 480. Now this amount at the end of the first year is added on to the principal amount to give total amount, or to raise the total amount of the principal to now 5,280. Now, second year interest will be, again, using the same formula, simple interest formula of rate times principal times time over 100 is equal to 10 times now 5,280 times 1, that is 1 year over 100, giving an interest, or raising an interest of shillings 528, which is all again added on to the principal, the existing principal at that time, at the end of the second year, to give or to raise the total amount of principal to now 5,808 shillings. We continue this stepwise calculation of compound interest. At third year, of course, beginning of third year, until the end, the principal of 5,808, which was there at the beginning of the year, earns interest, which will still be given by the formula of rate times principal times times over 100, again is equal to 10 times 5,808 times 1 year, the third year, over 100, which gives shillings 5,080 and 80 cents, which again is added on to the principal to raise the value of the principal amount to now 6,388 and 80 cents. Let's go to fourth year. We enter into fourth year with the total amount of principal or principal amount equal to 6,388.80 cents, which is invested throughout the fourth year. At the end of the fourth year, it shall have earned interest of rate times principal times time of 100, which is equal to again 10%. That is rate times the principal amount, which is now 6,388.80 cents, times 1, the 1 year of the fourth year, over 100, giving amount of interest as shillings 638.88 cents, which again is added on to the principal amount to raise the principal amount now to 7,027.68 cents. So at end of fourth year, Mary shall have an amount of 7,027.86 cents in her account, having accumulated since she started investing her 4,800 at the beginning of the first year. The total compounded interest or compound interest accumulated equals the current amount in her account, which is 7,027.68 cents, minus or take away the investment she put in, which was 4,800, giving a total accumulated interest of 2,227.68 cents. We can compare the compound interest, this much which we've calculated, compounding or adding the interest and every year onto the principal, to the simple interest which we got earlier. Now the simple interest after 4 years would be a rate times principal times time, which is now 4 years over 100, giving a total of shillings 1,920, which we can see clearly is less than the accumulated or compounded interest of 2,227.68 cents. When we compare that, we see that compound interest earns more. Very well, we move on, and now it's your turn. Task 1, you're gonna do some work here. Work out solutions to the following problems. Take pictures of your work area and send to the WhatsApp line. You've got 12 minutes to do this. A. Calculate the total amount the bank would earn from Mary's business if it was to give Mary a credit means loan of shillings 200,000 payable in 5 years at a compound interest rate of 10% per year. Compound interest rate 10% per year for 5 years, which means you go through simple interest first year, get interest, add on to the principal amount, work out second year, add interest, third year, add interest, fourth year, add interest, until you end of fifth year. Quite some process there. B. Calculate and compare the total amount Mary would have paid the bank with the amount in A above if the bank rate was simple interest at a rate of 12% per year for the 5 years. In which case is she paying more? Which means you calculate simple interest on the principal of 200,000 at a rate of 12% per year for 5 years, compare with this compounded interest. Thank you very much. You'll take a bit more time than 12 minutes, which could be up to 18 minutes. We meet later.